We interrupt our normal programming to take you straight to Washington, where the newly sworn-in French President François Hollande has been meeting with President Barack Obama, and now he's speaking at the French embassy.
I was given the opportunity by the G8 meeting and the Chicago summit. I reminded President Obama how much importance I gave to the relationship between France and the United States. We have a long tradition where, despite setbacks and sometimes differences that may have opposed at times our two countries, we've always known how to link up and act together on crucial issues, and will be the same in the next months. I insisted on the issue of growth. As you know, this is one of the themes that will be discussed in European summits with respect to the fiscal compact, because I want to add a growth pact, but I also want growth to be a global issue. Our economies are interlocked. What happens in the Eurozone has consequences for the US economy, and likewise, as we've seen in the last few years, what occurs in the United States has an impact on our European Union economies. Similarly, the relationship we must have with China needs to be consistent, because what we're demanding from China, reciprocity, in the long-term convertibility of their currency, compliance with some specific rules. These issues need to be negotiated jointly. With respect to growth, President Obama reassured me that he shared my principles and granted great importance to this issue. We are, and I am, convinced that we need to clean up our public finances. That's true in Europe as it is here in the United States. But we also need to ensure that growth has its actual importance. We need to improve competitiveness. We need to facilitate trade. And we need to make long-term investments. We need to mobilize savings, coordinate economic policies. By consequence, growth will be the major issue in the next few weeks and months. The second key issue I wanted to talk about with President Obama, although the Chicago summit will enable us to continue these talks, is the confirmation of the decision I've taken, and I had announced before the French presidential election held on the 6th of May, i.e. the fact that our combat troops will be withdrawn from Afghanistan in late 2012. For several days, we have done everything to ensure that this commitment will be kept and also understood by our partners. And all this will remain within the framework of a treaty that's been signed by Afghanistan and France, although it has yet to be ratified, and within the framework of NATO. But at the end of 2012, there will be no more French combat troops in Afghanistan. We also talked at length about other topics. I was accompanied by my Foreign Minister, Laurent Fabius, and our Finance Minister, Pierre Moscovici, and our teams. We talked about Iran. We will discuss this once more in Camp David. But we want to strike a firm stance while ensuring that negotiations are used to ensure that the Iranians are faced with their responsibilities. President Obama and I agreed on this approach. Syria is another one of our concerns. We will back Kofi Annan in his mission and the United Nations observers, and will continue to exert pressure on the Syrians and ensure that the Security Council also can be fully mobilized despite Russia's current stance. I mean, we need to find a political solution in Syria. So these are the topics I wanted to present. However, what mattered most was the atmosphere. It's never easy when a president is replaced by another president to talk. I mean, obviously, President Obama had been informed and was ready, but the atmosphere was excellent. We are certainly, and I myself, are not going to ignore what may have happened in the past, but I would also like to shape the relationship between France and the United States another way. We need to be friends, loyal, and also frank in terms of explaining what our positions are, but loyal, because once we have found a common solution, we need to do everything we can to ensure it is fully efficient. And then with Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, we explained some of our policies to her, in particular with respect to an issue that is a concern for me and is also one of the priorities of the United States, i.e. the Sahel zone. First of all, because there are French hostages who are kept there, but also because there's a lack of stability. You have the Al-Qaeda group operating there, and major risks weighing on several countries, first and foremost Mali. So we really need to focus on this part of the African continent, and the African continent is a continent I dearly love. There you are. I'm ready to answer any of your questions. President Hollande, 4 European Union members are going to be here, Mrs. Merkel, Mr. Cameron, Mr. Monti, and yourself. Did you talk about the Greek crisis with President Obama? What are the Americans ready to do for Greece? And do you intend to have a mini-summit between EU leaders to talk about the Eurozone, and in particular the Greek crisis? Well, when I met Mrs. Merkel on Tuesday evening, we talked about Greece's situation, in particular on the political level, since a new general election had just been called. Mrs. Merkel and I asserted our wish that Greece should remain a member of the Eurozone, and we need to do everything we can to allow it to remain within the Eurozone. But this, of course, entails that the Greeks must be willing. That's what's at stake at the general election. And secondly, Europe needs to send Greece signals to tell that country how important we believe its participation in the Eurozone is, although Greece must comply with its commitments. So yes, with President Obama, we did talk about the situation in Greece. All the more so as several developments have occurred in the last few days. But we are deeply attached to Greece's membership. Of course, the US president is not a member. I mean, the United States is not a member of the Eurozone. And it's up to the Eurozone to find solutions with Greece's full participation. But I believe that I'm faithfully explaining what President Obama believes when I say that we, collectively, as we will reassert in the G8 meeting, I certainly will, need to do everything so that Greece may remain in the Eurozone. We need to provide solutions in terms of growth, investment, and economic activity. That's this message we need to send to Greece, that we will support them. Will there be a mini-summit? We will see. I don't want to disclose any secret, but I do believe a meeting will be held. But in the same state of mind, with the same mindset, we need to assert our will, our desire that Greece should remain in the Eurozone, and we will send every message we can to back up this decision, this will to keep Greece within the Eurozone, although it will be up to the Greeks to decide. President Hollande, you talked about the atmosphere during your conversation with President Obama. President Obama had backed Nicolas Sarkozy during the campaign in a video conference. Did you have any advice to give him on how to beat the Republican candidate? We didn't talk about that. Neither about the past nor the future in this respect. I don't believe it's our role, for either of us, to meddle in the other countries' elections. Therefore, I certainly cannot remember anything about Barack Obama taking part in Nicolas Sarkozy's election. You can always ask him. I'm not sure he actually remembers having given that video conference. And as for the American election, well, just ask him. And I certainly don't want to say anything